make sure that your mission is intact.
Yes, ma'am.
Agent 1, what is a touch?
Physical contact, ma'am.
Agent 2, what is a good touch?
Touches that make you feel alright, ma'am.
Such as?
A high five, a handshake, even a kiss, ma'am.
Good. Now, Agent 3, what is a bad touch?
Touches that make you feel not so good, ma'am.
Like a slap, a kick, a pinch, and most important, if someone touches your private part. And what do we do when someone gives us a bad touch?
You tell a trusted adult, ma'am, for help, ma'am.
Tell them, don't do that, ma'am. Agent, I see that you understand. Now it's your mission to spread this information. Just remember that good touches are
Okay.
and bad touches are
Not okay.
so agent, go spread the word.
Yes, ma'am.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people, and so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Picture your parents them over there watching you.
You want gangbang?
It's back.
You're here because your parents decided to put you in here.
The groundbreaking reality series returns.
You never hit me before? You raise your hand hit me?
Do you know it's still time to get it together?
With never before seen footage.
Come punch me then. Send you to punch me. You punch me?
This ain't no playground.
You can know before you leave today. If you leave, if they find some space, I can teach you all how to disrespect.
It's a whole new season.
Don't come here with your movie face, because I ain't buying it.
Watch their transformation.
It bears to be a winner. It bears to be a winner.
Teamwork. You are a unit. You moving as one.
So why you doing what you doing? The Ministry of National Security and the ZNS Network presents Shark Treatment. A whole new season coming soon.
Peter Dilk on the phone. You got to think of a reason to get home. So, you know, Eastern Airlines flies straight through.
Yes.
So they sent my ticket. I called Coach and tell Coach my parents wasn't doing well, which was a classy day. And I got home, and the people, man, the people used to come to the game. They hide me until it was game time, and I could not get in the gym. You know how I got in that gym? They put me on top of the box, top of the head, and pushed me through.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, Urban Renewal's small home repair program to help hundreds of homeowners. A massive fire in 8 Mile Rock overnight. And the increase in power bills now in effect, a leading voice says consumers are feeling the pinch. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping the news, for some, it has been a long time coming as hundreds of outstanding applications were left untouched for the Urban Renewal Small Home Repair Program. But today, officials say help is on the way for those qualified residents who are in need of assistance. The Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development was on Grand Bahama today to officially launch the program. Jamila Mizik has the details.
2,500 applicants will soon have their prayers answered as Urban Renewal officially launched its small home repair program right here on Grand Bahama.
For the start of our project, initially it was called the small roof repairs under the former administration. And I just wanted to make it clear that the Davis and Cooper administration, we are now launching the small home repairs.
That's Minister of State for Social Services and Urban Development, the Honorable Lisa Ramming, who explains that the home repair program has been revolutionized.
In going around and doing assessments, we realized that not everyone has a roof problem. And so we found out that some people don't have bathrooms. Because we're operating under the former budget, 2.6 million is what we have, and we intend to use all of it.
However, Ramming is stressing the importance for residents to be patient as it is a two-tier process.
We have a subcommittee that sees the applications first. Then we have the final committee with the chairman and the project manager and all of those persons. And of course, as the Minister of State over Urban Renewal, I am not on either of those committees. I have no say in who gets what contract, whose home is built. And we want you to know it's a fair process. That is why we did the two committees. And I also would like to mention that the DRA is also doing their small home projects. However, theirs are more extensive than ours, and that'll be coming on soon.
Now, Ramming notes that there is a $10,000 cap per home with the exception of special cases. Minister for Grand Bahama, the Honorable Ginger Moxie, noting that in their blueprint for change, reconstruction and resiliency were primary objectives, especially to assist residents in Abaco and Grand Bahama.
We've heard the cries for so long. It's been so long overdue. And so we're, of course, delighted that today we're able to begin the process of making it happen for our people. I know that, you have a great team on the ground who's going to ensure that our people get that much needed relief. And we're here to support throughout this process.
Chairman of the Urban Renewal Commission, Stephen Dean, says it is an ambitious program and they're taking it to a new level.
Some of the things you're going to look at, that if we fix the roof, you could imagine we know that the house needs to be painted. We're not going to leave that. In some cases, we paint the house. And then to spice it up, if Grammy was good to us, we put a nice plant and landscaping in the front of it. Yes. 2 trees. And then if we feel it's insecure, we might put a fence around it. That's the new level we're taking it. We're trying to get this self-pride, that people feel good. You don't have to live in a certain spot in Grand Bahama to feel good.
However, Dean says it is critical that applicants provide verification of home ownership.
Our experience have taught us in the past where we have renovated places. All of a sudden, the landlord wake up out of the grave and said that he think he needs to raise the price or put the people out, because all that wasn't declared. So that is critical, that there's documentation that you own the property, So we are here to help contractors. The small man, we are not talking about the mega contractors who have the $1 million contracts. We're talking about the small man who probably didn't work for the past 2 years because of hurricane, because of another, who want just a jump start. So it's just a jump start. So we asked them the qualifications to be a Bahamian citizen, that they must have a business license. I know that might be some issues in Freeport, the Freeport area, but they must have a tax compliance certificate, and that is the basic requirements we asked of them.
Now, the home repair program for the Northern Bahamas includes Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. Jamila Mizik, ZNS Network News.
Now, also on hand for the official announcement was Deputy Director for Urban Renewal, Northern Bahamas, Senator Kirkland Russell, who says their aim is to provide compassionate relief.
We want to sincerely say to the residents that we are here for you. We intend to increase the happiness index of our people here in Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini, and indeed the entire Bahamas.
Now, the officer in charge of the Northern Bahamas, Assistant Commissioner of Police Theophilus Cunningham, says they are happy to partner with Urban Renewal to assist the underprivileged and disadvantaged.
We are happy just to be a part of the process to assist with nation building. And we believe that this will definitely assist us in creating safer communities to provide help to those that are in need.
Well, in other news, it has been 1 month since that electricity rate increase took effect on Grand Bahama. Tonight, we will hear from the president of the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, who led the way on the protest against the 3% rate hike, who says, make no mistake about it, he hasn't given up the fight.
So far, what is very clear, and this was clear before the decision was made, is that people across this island, residents along with business customers, do not support this rate increase.
When the announcement came concerning a hike in the power rates on Grand Bahama, the Coalition of Concerned Citizens, an advocacy group, expressed their dismay and stood against it. And now that the 3.3% increase is in effect, President Eddie Victor says it makes a bad situation worse.
Here's a truth about the cost of electricity before the increase. The cost of electricity was causing the cost of living to be higher on Grand Bahama than it ought to be. So the direct impact has been cost of living has increased. And it's increased in the aftermath of the Hurricane Dorian and the pandemic, which we're still coming out of. Now, what that means now is that where there was less money before all of this increase, it's even going to be harder on everyone.
His position is that Grand Bahamians have suffered enough and cannot afford an increase of any sort.
The government of the Bahamas had made it clear from when this proposed rate increase was announced that they do not support increase anywhere on Grand Bahama. So right now, what the power company has done, with the approval of the regulator, the Grand Bahama Port Authority, they've inflicted more hardship on the people on Grand Bahama.
He says they are now going to intensify their efforts to bring an end to the increase.
Our intention is to fight this thing vigorously. And it's going to mean, it means that we got to protest the power company, protest the regulator, whoever we got to protest, to bring the message across that you got to stop this madness. The signs of economic and social regression in Grand Bahama, and in particular Freeport, let's focus on Freeport, is all around us.
Victor says it's time for a change.
And when I talk about change, we need to get another power company in here. We need to have a different regulator. And we need to examine the Hawksbill Creek Agreement. We need to examine it this year and next year. We can't wait for the future. So I suggest that these are things that we must address immediately.
And although the increase is now in effect, Victor maintains that they are still fighting against it and advocating on behalf of Grand Bahamians. Well, a massive blaze at DeVoe's Junkyard in 8 Mile Rock last night. Supervisor at the Junkyard, William DeVoe, telling ZNS News that the fire erupted after 5 p.m. and police fire crews were on the scene within half an hour. DeVoe estimates that it took some 5 hours to extinguish the fire, and by that time, about 400 to 500 derelict cars were destroyed, which is a major blow to the family business. No one was hurt, and investigators are trying to determine the exact cause of that fire.
My name is Joyce Pender, and as we approach Mother's Day, I would like to share one of my experiences as a parent. As a parent, I always teach my children to put God first. And you never know how much a child is learning from what you taught them. One experience that I had with my daughter Corral. She was a swimmer in high school. But I was always afraid of her in competition. It was not something that I wanted her to do, but she insisted. And so, as a swimmer, I never went to see her swim. Didn't realize the message that I was sending. So after being encouraged by the other swim parents, I decided I would go to the pool. And as I went to the pool, even though I was there, I shaded my eyes because I didn't want to see her lose her races. And when I look, actually, being a long-distance swimmer, she had almost lapped her competitors in the pool. I was so amazed. I said to myself, wow. So when Corel came out of the pool, I said, Corel, didn't realize, and you didn't seem afraid, and you did so well. What happened? You did a good job. She said, Mommy, every stroke, I was praying, and I said, I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me. She got it from me. I taught her to always put God first. And where did I get it from? I got it from my grandparents. And I could remember my grandmother saying, just take God with you. Just take God with you. So I would look for God in the leaves, in the butterflies, in the ladybugs, along the street. I would just be looking for God. Because as a 3.5-year-old child, that's how you see God. But it stayed with me. It stayed with me throughout my life. And it has become my life lesson. Put God first. I entreat with you, mothers, women, parents, people, always put God first. He loves you, He's forgiven you, and all belongs to Him. Thank you. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you.
Did you know that there were once railway tracks on Grand Bahama? In 1944, where did loggers build their mill? Season 1 of Grand Bahama Facts is sponsored by the Ministry for Grand Bahama.
Come on down. Come on down. Now.
We celebrate Mother's Day. I just want to say thank you to our mom, Mary Ella Lang, for leading by example. From your children, Judy Mae Pratt, Randy and Theo Lang, and Eleanor Stewart. Happy Mother's Day, Grammy.
Mom, one little word, so much love. Happy Mother's Day to Donna Lang Jones from your son Reynard and daughter Kiara. Thank you for always being there.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them.
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
Mothers are meant to be treasured. Make this Mother's Day one that she will never forget. Shop Bellevue Gifts and Supplies, Queens Highway, for great gift ideas.
Star General's final expense plan provides cash. Payout can be used for medical bills, funeral expenses, other expenses, and survivors. Phone them at 688-7827. Celebrate Mom this Mother's Day at any of the 2 fabulous restaurants for brunch at the Grand Lacayan Hotel, Churchill's, or Portobello's. Ticket box office is at Lighthouse Point Lobby.
See this in 3D. Look at life in 3D.
Said I need it right now. You cut all of the lights out. You can see me like Diddy.
So be alarmed. What you about to see is the bomb, like 3D and all.
It's 3D. Mr. GB on Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Earlier this year, February 1st, to be exact, an 8 Mile Rock resident celebrated a major milestone. In fact, one that perhaps few of us would have an opportunity to experience. Well, 3 months after that landmark, this beloved citizen received yet another surprise, one that she certainly did not expect. In this story, our Jay Philippe tells us how a special visitor touched the life of 8 Mile Rock's very one, Centenarian.
The Governor General, His Excellency Cornelius A. Smith, making a surprise visit to Dalcina Dale Russell Smith in the 8 Mile Rock community. On February 1st, Doris, as she is affectionately called, celebrated her 100th birthday.
I've been in Grand Bahama since 1957, and I've known the Russell family, but particularly Doris and her brothers all my life. Yeah. And I find, as I said earlier, I find it an honor to be able to come and spend a little time with her, and to recognize that after 100 long years, she has such a command of the English. Her faculty is all well, and she continues to praise her God for giving her this long life.
The Governor General sharing sincere wishes to the beloved Centenarian on achieving such a milestone, and delivered a birthday card on behalf of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
I consider it an honor.
Thank you.
And a privilege to have been able to come and to, first of all, wish you health, to wish you a much longer life, but also to thank God for saving your life for such a long time. And I wanted to bring a message from Her Majesty in which she wishes you a very, very happy life.
The birthday card read, "I am so pleased to know that you celebrated your 100th birthday on the 1st of February 2022. I send my congratulations and best wishes to you for such a special occasion."
It's the Lord's will. God do that, not mine. Whoever done it, to God, our Father which in heaven.
It's important to note that at 100, Doris suffers from vision loss, and she was grateful to have her good friend and Governor General, His Excellency Cornelius A. Smith, pay her a visit.
I could tell you to tell him I say. I would pray for him, and if I should die before him, I'd be looking for him over there. I know who he would be. Because when you go to heaven, you know each other better. Oh, yeah.
Best wishes to Dalcina Dale Doris Russell Smith, the matriarch of the Russell family and the 8 Mile Rock community. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
While the mortal remains of the late Mary Cooper arriving in Grand Bahama yesterday, it was a solemn day for the family and friends who gathered outside of the Grand Bahama International Airport. A procession followed to St. George's High School, where officials and honor guard students stood outside with banners in hand to salute and pay homage to the Lady Jaguar. Those who knew and loved Mary Cooper, affectionately known as Lady Jaguar, assembling in numbers to receive her body as it arrived from the United States. Many cried as the body was removed from the aircraft and placed into the hearse. Prayers were also lifted. Longtime friend and colleague says saying goodbye will not be easy.
Personally, for me, it's a very trying period because I worked with her as a vice principal from 2001 to 2005. And under her leadership, she gave me room to grow. She was somebody that I could confide in. She became more than a boss. She became a mentor. She, even after our paths separated, I always sought her counsel before I made any new decision. So it's very hard, and although my emotions are showing, I need to do it for her today.
A motorcade to St. George's High School also taking place. That is where education officials and honor guard students stood outside the school's campus with banners to salute and pay tribute to the Lady Jaguar. A sign that read, "Rest in peace, Miss Cooper," was posted for all passerby to see. Everyone stood and watched as the hearse circled the front portion of the school's campus.
One cannot overemphasize the significance of it.
Retired educator Cecil Thompson says it was a fitting tribute for a woman who served as principal of the school from 1996 to 2005.
I could not think of any more appropriate gesture upon the arrival of her remains from the United States. It had been arranged so that she make her final departure from the campus where she spent so many years.
Current principal of St. George's High School, Shannon White, organized the tribute. She was a teacher during the time the school was headed by Mrs. Cooper.
It's a difficult day, but the friends and family of St. George's, we just wanted to pay homage to Mrs. Cooper as she returns to the island, because many of us didn't get to see her in her last days. So we just wanted to pay tribute to her today.
White says she has learned much at the hands of Mrs. Cooper and will miss her dearly.
She saw a leader in me at the time when I was just entering into education, and she mentored me, she groomed me. And I remember the day that I found out that I was going to be posted at St. George's, I called her, and she was so excited. And I said, "Mrs. Cooper, I know I have large shoes to fill." And she said, "Miss Roll, but I know that you can do it." So I am just saddened by her passing, but I know that she would have left a great, great legacy.
Officials say a memorial will take place at St. George's High School on Thursday, May 5th at 6:30 p.m. The funeral is scheduled for Saturday, May 14th at 10 a.m. at the Christ the King Church. As a former student of St. George's High School, may her soul rest in peace. Your evening sports report is up next with Jay Philippe.
Good evening, I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. We have some scores and updates from the Flag Football League, both in Abaco and Grand Bahama. But before we get into that, we had some softball and baseball games between Abaco and, again, Grand Bahama. Let's begin with softball and baseball, where a number of teams from Abaco traveled to Grand Bahama for some competitive games. In the 12U softball game, Girls Like Diamond defeated Abaco Pink Panthers 14-6. In the 16 and under game, Elite 9 Cats got the win against Abaco Pink Panthers again by 1 run. The final score was 12-11. Both coaches from Abaco says it was good for their players to match up against Grand Bahama.
I think that the experience was a successful one. We accomplished all the goals that we had set out prior to leaving Abaco. Our goal was to come over here and give our kids some exposure, give them an opportunity to see what the competition is like, and get them, because we're trying to work towards the baseball nationals in June. And so this was an opportunity that our kids travel, get that experience with traveling and playing other kids other than what they play normally in Abaco.
It was nice for them to come and get the exposure. Right now, Winning is really not my ultimate goal, but to see improvement in play and better competition, because I'm really getting ready for national. That's when winning is going to mean something to me.
Now in baseball, beginning with the 14 and under game, Legacy won against Abaco 4-3. The other game saw Team Grand Bahama shut out Abaco 7-0. In the 16 under games, Elite 9 won against Team Abaco 11-1, while Legacy Baseball got the W versus Abaco.
The competition was a little more than I was expecting, but the games went well. Fellas played good. We'd like to see them again, so we could keep doing this and see how far we could get with stuff here in Freeport.
We have a 16U team who hasn't played in a while, and they did an excellent job. Abaco game, they gave us some competition. The GB team and Legacy team, we had a great time today, and we hope that we can have more of these games moving forward.
Switching gears now from the Diamond to flag football, just 2 games played in week 4 of the Grand Bahama Flag Football League at the Sports Complex. In game 1, GB Knights got their first win of the season, defeating Container Port Stackers 14-7. The Stackers still winless on the season. And the feature game between perhaps 2 of the top teams in the league, Sky's the Limit Rock Boys edge out 0-man Tolerance 15-12 to move to 2-1 on the season. Sticking with football scores from the Abaco Flag Football League, in game 1, the Outlaws defeated the Warhawks 20-14. In the second game, the Sharks took care of business against the Jaguars. The final score was 40-7. As far as current standings, the Sharks 6-0 so far in the year, the Outlaws 4-2, the Warhawks 1-5, and the Jaguars at the bottom of the leagues with a 1-5 record. And that's a quick check on sports. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
If you love Rake and Scrape, then you don't want to miss Rake and Scrape Reloaded with the one and only Elon Crabman Moxie this Saturday by No Holds Bar on Settlers Way.
Are you tired, overweight, having trouble sticking to your health and fitness goals? Well, look no further. The Fitness Connection has teamed up with ZNS to bring you Health Bites. This and every Thursday, tune in, and we'll make sure you get on track and stay on track with your health and fitness goals. Tune in.
One station giving you 3 different shows. It's Power 104's new weekday lineup. Join me for late mornings with 6 from 9 to 11. Plus, we have something new for you.
It's your boy 3D, Mr. GB on Power 104.5 FM. Join me on the drive time from 4 to 6, giving you all the latest hits from the past to the
future. You know what it is. It's that DJ that plays the music that you love, DJ Future, letting you know to join me on 104.5 from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. every day, Monday to Friday, all right? But it's not just all about me. I got my colleagues along with me right here at 104.5 FM.
In 1944, where did loggers build their mill? If you guessed Pine Ridge, you are correct. Season 1 of Grand Bahama Facts is sponsored by the Ministry for Grand Bahama.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Andrea Walcott, you are our Facebook friend of the day, and as always, we are grateful for your support. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire news team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do ask that you stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues.
In the Bahamas Tonight, the national report, non-compliance to blame for hefty revenue loss. Public service salary adjustment, societal implications of school truancy, and Jazz hot start continues. Marlins, not so much. The Bahamas Tonight, the national report, starts now.
This portion of the news is brought to you by BTC Super Fast Internet for Less. Best rate, no debate. Sign up today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the national report. Thanks so much for joining us. 5 months after the relaunch of the Revenue Enhancement Unit, officials there are already making significant strides, albeit encountering troubling statistics. They've discovered that nearly 50% of 18 businesses audited, 8 of them in that period, have been non-compliant, an issue they claim, if indicative of the wider business community, is troubling. Add to that, more than 70% of commercial property owners have had significant arrears, and to basically sum it up, a substantial revenue loss for the government. Cleopatra Murphy leads us off tonight.
It's a staggering figure, nearly $1 billion in revenue lost due to non-compliance within the past years. It's an issue officials at the Revenue Enhancement Unit say they fully intend to crack down on.
If you have the ability to pay and still do not pay, we will garnish wages, we will garnish revenue, bank accounts, and other sources of income. Where appropriate, penalties, surcharges, and fines, and even collection fees could possibly be added to your account.
Business license fees, VAT returns, and real property taxes are just some of the areas taxpayers have been delinquent, with Acting Controller of Inland Revenue Shanda Strawn revealing some businesses deliberately underreport just to avoid obligations. She says the goal of the Revenue Enhancement Unit, comprised of the compliance and collections arms of the Department of Inland Revenue and the Bahamas Customs Department, is to increase revenue collection by $200 million in 2 years and increase collection by 25% in 5 years through voluntary compliance. Financial Secretary Simon Wilson says for the current fiscal year, the unit is already ahead of its target, having seen a $210 million increase in overall revenue. Customs duty in the first 2 months of 2022 increased by $50 million compared to 2020, and there is real property tax.
In the first 3 months of the year, repayment of arrears was $10 million. In the last month of March, it was over $3 million, or $4 million for arrears, which is really significant. When you analyze that over the full year, you can see there is tremendous progress.
On the customs end, Acting Deputy Comptroller Ralph Monroe says undervaluation of declared goods continue to be a challenge, with significant revenue lost in the past year.
And it's supposed we collect, for the sake of argument, 85% of what we ought to collect. That's a high figure again, but when you look at we're collecting around $800 million, 15% would then tell you that a significant figure we're dealing with. Most of it, in my estimation, would be because of undervaluation, not that persons don't declare, but false declaration.
Wilson adds that vehicles with high value rates are often undervalued.
The Bahamas love trucks. So trucks have a higher level of undervaluation, followed by a lot of these cubes and so forth. Parcels and cubes and so forth. Then be able to tell you, beyond that, who are the importers, who are more likely to be engaged in undervaluation.
Officials say one thing is certain, it is a new era of tax compliance in the country, and those who don't pay their fair share will be pursued. Cleopatra Murphy, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, public service workers' salary scales to be adjusted following errors on the 2016 salary book. That, according to Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honorable Pia Glover-Roll, who says some civil servants then may get a raise, and in some instances where people have been overpaid, the government will look to recover those funds.
The ministry, through our permanent secretary, has released a circular to advise. The unions are also aware that now that the salary book has been adjusted and the system to match, there will be some training with the finance officers to ensure that over the course of the next month or two, there will be amelioration of financial matters in line with the salary book, so that everybody will be on even keel and on the pay scale that they should be and at the pay grade that they should be.
Meantime, public service promotions continue with $2 million set aside for back pay.
We're still working on customs. We're working on about 6 or 7 other government agencies. Civil servants are getting letters, increments, back pay every week. I'm very happy about it. The civil servants are happy about it. While this is happening, we're working in tandem with the trade unions through our labor relations unit, basically to ensure, of course, a lot of our unions' industrial agreements are expired, about to expire. We're in negotiations. Most of it is financial. So the Ministry of Public Service technical team and the Ministry of Finance technical teams are working together to get those matters solved.
Well, if you're among the many Bahamians looking for a job, the Department of Labor's reinstituted its Labor on the Blocks 2.0 initiative aimed at reducing unemployment numbers. The place, Columbus Primary School, Collins Avenue, this Saturday, May 7th, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, says a similar exercise will take place simultaneously on Grand Bahama as part of an expanded program to include the Family Islands.
The surrounding areas targeted for this job fair are the communities of Angliston, Centerville, and St. Barnabas. I wish to confirm that in excess of 30 employers have confirmed their attendance and are expected to hire persons at the event. Additionally, BTVI, the National Training Agency, and the Lowell J. Mortimer Maritime Academy will be in attendance to provide new and exciting training and certification opportunities to members of the public. The Grand Bahama Job Fair will be held at the Jack Haywood High School Gymnasium located on Jubilee Drive.
First time the police and defense forces will mount a recruiting exercise during the job fair series. Labor Director Robert Ferguson encourages job seekers to attend as employers are eager to hire.
For fact that the Sandals group of companies are seeking persons to fly to Exuma, to work on Exuma property, and to property hub in Foul Key. We know a number of sectors has confirmed their participation: the construction sector, the financial services sector, First Caribbean Bank, Super Value, Breezes Super Clubs. All of these companies has indicated and they will be present and they need people to work. So we want to encourage those persons, come dressed, come prepared to be interviewed, come with your government identification, come with your resumes, because the employers has indicated to us they want to leave the school on Saturday with new employees.
Now to news from Parliament. Senators today tackling the Climate Change and Carbon Markets Initiative bill. Proposed legislation passed in the House of Assembly last week. The bill paves the way for a framework to be developed for the research, verification, and monetization of the country's blue carbon credits market. That story tonight from Altavis Munnings.
By definition, a carbon market allows investors and corporations to trade both carbon credits and carbon offsets simultaneously, mitigating an environmental crisis while creating new market opportunities. And it's those very opportunities that the Bahamas hopes to capitalize on. Pushing the idea in the upper chamber Wednesday morning was Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Ryan Pinder, who detailed how countries around the world have agreed to meet net zero carbon emissions by 2050.
The new rules, as outlined in Article 6 of the Paris Agreement,
state that countries around the world can trade units or carbon credits with one another in order to access more cost-effective emissions reductions. Or in case of the Bahamas, to sell our excess emission credits. In other words, we in the Bahamas will have our natural flora that soaks up more carbon than we emit, so we would be in a negative position, thereby creating the carbon credit. 1 ton of carbon credits in the voluntary market is traded at an average of $55 per ton and has been high as $99 per ton, primarily in the EU, where the framework is a little bit more advanced.
The carbon bill receiving bipartisan support.
We must provide a roadmap as to how we're going to get there. We just can't make statements. We have to provide a roadmap, give the people due notice, right? That this is what we intend to do. This is the time frame in which we intend to do it.
It was during this contribution that the Attorney General tables the government's policy white paper on digital assets. That's expected to position the country as a regional and global leader in cryptocurrency and blockchain technology.
Fundamental to this is the work that is already underway between the University of the Bahamas and the Securities Commission of the Bahamas to develop degree and certificate programs in digital assets. One must understand this fast-moving industry to be able to professionally thrive within it.
Government also plans to appoint a digital advisory committee. Altaviz Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, senators calling it a day after passing several pieces of legislation, including a compendium of judicial bills, namely the Evidence Amendment Bill, the Criminal Procedure Code Amendment Bill, and the Juries Amendment Bill. The proposed pieces of legislation crafted to not only update, modernize, and refine the law, but to advance the efficient and effectiveness of justice. The Attorney General also opened debate on the Magistrate Amendment Bill left in committee in the House of Assembly. Contributing, Economic Affairs Minister Senator the Honorable Michael Akitas acknowledged that with violent crime being a threat to public order, these bills are necessary steps in curbing crime and restoring law and order across the country.
Any delays, inefficiencies, dysfunction in our system results in justice being delayed and indeed justice being denied. And again, in moving the bill, the Honorable Attorney General, I think everyone was shocked when he disclosed that it takes 211 days for a matter to be disposed of, and then he broke it down into the different segments, including 80 days on average from the conclusion of a matter to a judgment, which leads to frustration, leads to the feeling that there is not justice, leads to the feeling that something is working against me. It leads to distrust, and in some cases it ultimately leads, unfortunately, to vigilantism and street justice.
Well, still to come, a new Contractors Association board and emergency medical personnel celebrated. We'll be back after the break.
This portion of the news was brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years, but at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family, and together we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married?
Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have? Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
They say that when it hits you. A feeling so strong that it's impossible not to give into. A juicy piece of KFC to feel elevated by the aroma and to free fall into its exciting flavor. Some call it love, attraction, desire. We call it KFC. Ignite your senses with KFC.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses as well as life's little surprises. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
Anything you need, we got you covered. Say the word and we'll come through. So if you need coverage for life, choose BAF, they'll get it right. Just go out and do it. It's your life, so just live it. So anything you want, you can get it. It's time to get it right. So we rolling with BAF for life. BAF for life. And so we going with BAF for life. BAF for life. And so we choosing BAF for life. BAF for life. And so we rolling with BAF for life. BAF for life. If you want coverage for life, choose BAF, they'll get it right. Yes, that's the best choice. BAF, that's BAF for life.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies Limited. If it's healthcare, it's here.
The Urban Renewal Program's goal is to enhance life in the inner city. And tonight, officials have partnered with the Brotherhood Organization, Prison Fellowship, and the Gang Resistance Intervention Program for a peace prayer walk, rally, and grill and chill at Urban Renewal Centerville office. Lloyd Allen joins us live from there with a look at the impact Urban Renewal has been making in this part of the capital. Good evening, Lloyd.
Well, good evening, Makushla, and good evening, Bahamas. This afternoon, we're here in the area of Storms Corner, where right behind me, the Urban Renewal Band come to a complete stop. They did a routine march starting in the area of the Urban Renewal office just off of East Street, cutting through a number of the urban streets here, DeVoe Street included, and now we've resulted here at this parking lot where, it's really centered about inviting community members out to reduce crime as it occurs. Joining us this evening is the officer in charge of Urban Renewal. He's Superintendent Theodore Campbell. Mr. Campbell, of course, welcome to the Bahamas tonight. And talk to us a little bit about how events like this are intended to minimize crime.
Well, good evening, Bahamas. I first want to give all respect to Almighty God, who's the head of my life and head of this entire program's life. Without God, nothing is possible. Teamwork always makes the dream work together. We always achieve more. I want to tell the Bahamas that in a collaborative effort with the Commissioner of Police, working in tandem with the Urban Renewal Commission, has mandated the police force to reach out to NGOs, to reach out to the church community. Whereas we partnered with agencies and NGOs such as the Brotherhood, such as the GRIP organization, and we are going to go forward as pressing onward, upward, together, understanding that if we do not come out and work, as the Bible says, work has to be at the forefront, because faith without work is dead. You can pray, but you have to put the work into it. We utilize the format of the CDC, and I'm not talking about Center for Disease Control. I'm talking about commitment, dedication, and consistency. So together, we are going to be pressing forward throughout these communities. This is actually the fourth community that this team, this collaborative team, working together, has come and reached to the community members, focusing on, first and foremost, prevention, and secondly, rehabilitation. And that is why we have this collective group of gentlemen and ladies, understanding that we are brothers and sisters in Christ, and we will not allow the few negative people allowing the devil to use them, because the choice is only between God and the devil. And we are of God, and God will always be in control.
Well, some great information there, of course. You talked about it earlier. We have Pastor Henry Higgins. He's here today talking a little bit about the activity. Now, of course, many persons throughout the community, many adults, children out here as well. How far do you see this going as far as minimizing crime?
Well, you know, the bottom line is whenever you prevent something from happening in someone's life, then you make a serious mark. And so that is why we're here. And we have a number of organizations here. Prison Fellowship Bahamas. We have a Junkyard group here, Conquest for Christ. We have a dance group here, Creative Folk Arts Company. And we are recruiting young men and young women into these organizations so that will be a deterrent to keep them away from gang violence and to keep them away from crime. That is important. The Brotherhood is here. They are pulling men out to bring men into the organization. So when men have nowhere to go, the Brotherhood is an alternative for them. And that is why we've come together, because we believe that working together makes things happen better. And so you could work in your silo, or you could say, let's come together and let's get it done. And so that is why we're here. So we're going to take these streets by storm, because these streets belong to us. One criminal? No. And so next week, we're going to be at 7th and 8th Street taking these streets back. And so we just want to say to everybody, if you want to be a part and you have something to offer to our young people, don't come out for form or fashion. But if you come out because you really want to offer something to young people, you're invited to be a part.
Well, some great information there, of course, from Pastor Henry Higgins. And as you heard, this initiative continues in the area of 8th and 7th Street just next week. And so, of course, if you live in the area, you should, by all means, visit out. Reporting here from Storns Corner, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. Certainly a positive initiative there, one that we certainly hope, if nothing else, reduces crime in the country. In other news this evening, Emergency Medical Services Week is fast approaching, and this year, as the world looks beyond the pandemic, local officials are hoping to generate new life into the profession with a number of education and training initiatives. Public Hospital Authority's EMS Deputy Director Kevin Bell says this week, that's May 16th to the 21st, the week of May 16th to the 21st, rather, will focus on public discussions and a number of community events. That time will be used to salute many of these unsung heroes while increasing public awareness, particularly when it comes to on-the-job safety.
One of our most recent concerns is the safety of our personnel. We've had some situations where our EMTs have been attacked while on scenes trying to render help. And that's something that we want to help the public to understand, that we won't tolerate that. And when you attack us, we're the persons that come out there to help you. We're going to focus on some of the schools. Some of our team members are going to go to schools and speak to students. And the hope is to encourage those students there to consider EMS as a viable career.
Well, also making news tonight, there's long been talk of the correlation between education and crime. While there's one educator who's not only taking notes, but is presenting statistical information to substantiate that fact. Carla Palmer explains.
Chief Attendance Officer with the Ministry of Education, Anslo Strawn, is convinced that a lack of education and not attending school by many children have serious societal implications.
I got some data a few years ago that showed some 65% of those young men in particular at the Correctional Institute presented chronic absentee problem,
According to Strawn, it's this same group of children that when they do show up to school are exhibiting violent behavior.
If there's fights, you're afraid to come to school, you stay home. A lot of things affect school attendance.
Cognizant that inaction is likely a breeding ground to crime, the Chief Attendance Officer says the ministry is taking note and devising a plan to address the problem.
If you're just absent 2 days a month, that's 20 days a year. That's 1 month of school that you missed. If you add it all up, some of those kids would realize that, oh my goodness, I was just absent 3 days or so a month, but that adds up to almost 2 months out of the year, because there's only 5 days, school days in a week. And reading and math is where a lot of children fall down. And without those two subjects, how can you effectively learn?
A cycle, he says, often seen reflected in society, and if not broken, contributes to lower-paying jobs, unemployment, and crime.
Because we have some children that red flag. They're not doing well academically, and, they have violent tendencies. So if they could be placed in special programs and we could really focus on them, I think we could alleviate a lot of problems.
In response to effect positive change, Strawn says the ministry has enacted some behavioral modification programs. The programs are being spearheaded by the guidance and counseling departments. Carla Palmer, ZNS Network News.
The Member of Parliament for Nassau Village taking the bull by the horn to empower his constituents with the vital skills needed for employment. Where, you may ask? Well, literally in the middle of the street, as our Amajal Knowles reports.
If you were driving through or even walking through the Nassau Village area this past Saturday, you may have stumbled across a blockage on the main road. And no, it wasn't an accident or a parade, but rather a labor and skills workshop, aptly called the Block Traffic Skills Registration. Behind the initiative is Area MP Jamal Strawn with the help of street legends, BTVI, the Kiwanis Club of Montague, and the Department of Labor. Strawn says the whole idea was to bring them all together for one common cause.
So what we chose to do today was, bring all of the efforts together to ensure that the community benefits. So we did registrations with Ministry of Labor. We also have on board today Lowell J. Mortimer Maritime Academy. We also have BTVI, of course, private entities, Contour, and like I mentioned, NGOs and civic engagement with Kiwanis Club. The whole purpose is building the Nassau Villager, building the Bahamian for a stronger Bahamas.
With unemployment numbers still not where they ought to be, Strawn is hoping initiatives such as these can also address this problem.
Most persons have lamented that unemployment was terribly high upon us coming into office. So we're aggressively and deliberately attacking the unemployment rate by doing consistent registration drives, and hence you see the Ministry of Labor on hand. You see the private sector on hand. You see our existing entities and agencies on hand, all working together, not only to certify, but also to build capacity in the Bahamas.
The event also allowed constituents to showcase their respective brands, among them Marissa Coakley.
Okay, so I'm a community partner, and we're all about building Nassau Villages. Thanks to Jamal. He gave me this opportunity to bring my business out here. I'm also an Amazon approved author, so I brought my book as well. It's called She Means Business.
Strawn promised similar initiatives in the coming months. For ZNS Network News, I'm Amajal Knowles.
The Bahamas Contractors Association has a new leadership team. In its first post-COVID-19 in-person meeting, contractors elected Leonard Sands as president and Tamika Hanna vice president on April 14th. Established in 1958, the BCA serves as the voice of the local construction industry. And remember to tune into news updates starting at 2 p.m. You can then watch the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition at 6:30 p.m., all right here on the ZNS News Network.
Health is the greatest gift. That's where we come in. Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies is a premier distributor of medical equipment, as well as medical and surgical consumables. Our engineers are always on hand, providing top care service that saves lives. We carry a wide selection of over-the-counter and prescription items, IV fluids, and other injections. Our products are state-of-the-art, and our entire team stays on top of cutting-edge technology. With more than 2 decades of dedicated service, Bahamas Medical and Surgical Supplies continues to be a trendsetter and innovator in healthcare. We have set ourselves apart by truly caring for our customers. We understand the intricacies of healthcare, and we produce spectacular results. We cherish our partnerships and nurture our friendships as we continue on our quest to help everyone maintain that wonderful gift of good health. Find us on 9th Fifth Terrace, Centerville, right in the heart of the medical service epicenter of Nassau, Bahamas.
At the Department of Housing, we are working diligently to expand the path to home ownership.
We have streamlined our mortgage application process to make it easier and more convenient for you, our valued clients. The first step in the application process is to register online at www.mothbahamas.com. Registering online is a critical step in the mortgage application process, as it allows for a specific profile to be created, and it also allows you, our valued clients, to easily track and monitor your application as it moves through the various phases. The following documents are required: passport, NIB smart card, voter's card or recent utility bill not older than 3 months old to confirm address, job letter, pay stub, print of current credit facilities, which includes consumer loans and credit cards. For self-employed persons, the Department of Housing will require company documentation, such as a valid business license and business account statements for a minimum of 12 consecutive months. The Department of Housing, making access to quality, affordable housing easier for Bahamians. If you're interested in quality, affordable housing built at the highest construction standards, please register at www.mothbahamas.com or call us at 302-5816.
My father was born in Centenarian. He was a lighthouse keeper, so I am second-generation lighthouse keeper. And after he retired, Mr. Williams got the job, and I came after. Eventually, my goal is to take over and be the lighthouse keeper. I love this job. I love it. I grew up around Lighthouse. When I was born, he was the lighthouse keeper, so this is what I know. This is the Dixon Hill Lighthouse. It was built in England and transported to the Bahamas. It's steel on the inside and 2 feet of concrete on the outside. It was built so any ships passing, they can see the lights and they know, there's reefs close by. I can see myself doing this until I retire.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price, and you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
A big commercial seller, Mother's Day is just days off. And of course, there are the women who have raised you and those who, despite lack of kinship, are an everyday guiding hand. This week, the ZNS News team will highlight the women who, to some, are unconventional mothers. Antoinette Smith introduces us to 2 of our very own.
Behind the news sets, throughout these halls, and even further behind the scenes, there are the women who make the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas a well-oiled machine.
I can walk anywhere in ZNS and I can get anybody to do anything for me. That's the good thing about it.
But it's not because of their jobs in manning the desk, or even their work in ensuring all goes according to plan, but rather who they are to the men and women of this corporation.
On days, I might be the doctor. Some days, I'm the therapist. Some days, they just want to offload on somebody, and I'm there to listen to them.
Senior HR Manager Linda Sands and Newsroom Coordinator Andrea Genoa have been a pillar at the Broadcasting Corporation for more than 30 years. In their time, creating bonds that go beyond just work and beyond the call of duty.
And especially with the younger crew. I have a reporter who's very fond of me, and I'm very fond of her. When she comes to the office and she sits in the chair, she said, Miss Sands, I'm sitting in my therapy seat. I said, okay, what's happening today? And she and I would have a conversation.
So I'm able to just say to them and encourage them that, you know, we're in this together and it's a teamwork, and get them to do what they don't want to do. They give me a little hassle sometimes, but I'm able to, you know, get them to do it.
And it's not just about how, it's about why.
When I came to ZNS in my younger days, I had the older persons like Blossie and Dorrit, those who were there, and they helped me along to this journey that I'm at, to this place that I'm at in my journey. So I don't mind extending myself, you know, why not pay it forward?
We watch them all come, they all come through this door, and then they make their exit, but they got their training here at the Big Z first, and then they all go to the different stations, and I feel proud to know that they played a role in all of their lives.
So, Andrea Genoa.
And when I look at it, I say, boy, you did a good job with them, Andres.
Linda Sands.
Even a little way, you never know how far that could go.
We salute you. Antoine Smith, ZNS Network News.
An awesome story there, Antoine. Meantime, mothers in the Baines and Grantstown constituency will get the royal treatment this Mother's Day for the role they play in molding the country's future leaders. A forum featuring wife of the Prime Minister, Anne-Marie Davis, Agatha Marcel on training, and Robin Lyons addressing legal matters will take place this Friday at 6 p.m. and again on Saturday at 9 a.m. at Woodcock Primary School. Member of Parliament Wade Watson also revealing plans to host a special ceremony recognizing the oldest mother and Mother of the Year.
101-year-old Miss Elaine Major of Polling Division number 2. This recognition service will be held at St. Agnes at 10 a.m. And I want to go on record and say thank you to Father Cartwright and also to his congregation for giving us an opportunity to participate and to be a part of their service on Sunday. We know it's a special day for them, but they're going to give us an opportunity to encroach and be a part of their service and recognize our mothers. We know for sure a mother's love could never be repaid.
Now, while COVID protocols will be strictly enforced, Watson says he plans to make this event an annual one.
I want to put on programs that I believe that have the greatest reach and the greatest impact. I want to put on meaningful programs as a member of Parliament. I know for certain that we cannot continue to, or we cannot, or I will not, be hosting program for hosting program's sake, if I could use that terminology. So this is one of the staple programs on my agenda as a member of Parliament. So I would expect that this will be on the agenda next year and the ensuing years within my term in office.
We can also tell you some 300 mothers from the Garden Hills community receiving high honors during a ceremony at the National Art Gallery. Member of Parliament, the Honourable Mario Bolag, believes the recognition is timely.
It's just me showing my appreciation to these mothers, young and old, to let them know that they are loved, truly loved by their representatives, and we're going to do all we can to assist them in the further development of the youth of our nation.
Louise, Iona Stubbs, and Betty Ann Turnquest are thankful for the recognition.
These mothers have went beyond the call of duty. Some of them working 2 and 3 jobs just to keep peace and happiness in the home. It's their sense and awareness that there are mothers who actually are still being mothers. You know, they're cooking in the home, cleaning, washing up dishes when they should actually let the kids wash the dishes. These mothers are doing all the work, and, you know, they should be honored.
I feel so happy. It's a privilege, maybe one of the first time, and so I'm happy that they saw it fit to honor us mothers in the Garden Hills constituency.
And as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
satisfying to own your own piece of paradise? The most important investment you can make in your life is real estate, and Fidelity has the solution for you. You could become the owner of a home or a lot on any of our beautiful islands. Come and talk to a loan officer and inquire about how you can fund your goals with a loan today. Because we know it means a lot to own a lot. Visit us online at fidelitygroup.com. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or visit any of our branches. Or phone 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 for Freeport. Fidelity.
So when you look at the complement of women that we have across the business today, they're in the commercial field, they're in the IT field, the technology field. We've been very strategic and that women had a place not only at the table, but also that different views and not just one voice is being heard to ensure that we're providing innovative and creative solutions to our customers to enable their lifestyle to be even more seamless as we go forward.
Family gatherings start with a trip to Super Value and Quality Supermarkets for great savings like Mahatma long grain rice, 10 pounds, $7.99. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Hunt's ketchup, 32 ounce, $2.69. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Sweet cantaloupes, 2 for $5. Continue to save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
And 50 cruise passengers aboard Silver Cruise getting an authentic experience in the Big Yard, the vessel's very first time to Morgan's Bluff, Andros in decades. North Andros and Berry Islands MP Leonardo Lightbourne says several entrepreneurs welcome to the business after a prolonged economic drought.
Over 25 vendors were here on the ground, souvenirs and so forth. So this is just one of the initiatives that brings economy to our communities. I also want to make mention that this cruise ship that came in today has been 30 years plus from North Andros and the Berry Islands. Having a cruise ship pretty much here in North Andros is historic in some sense to bring back the rejuvenation of this economy and what we have to offer.
Well, as you just heard, the historic sale signals the start of the island's economic revival.
We will continue the initiative, and we hope to have the cruise lines coming here more often, maybe every month or 3 quarters of the year, however. But we're going to keep our best foot forward to ensure that the Bahamian people at large, but mainly the constituents of North Andros and the Berry Islands, gets their share of the pie.
Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Lakeisha. This evening we have just a few clouds. Temperature at 79 degrees, relative humidity 73%. We have south-southwest winds at 5 miles per hour. The barometric pressure 1,016.7 millibars. That's 30.02 inches, and the pressure is rising. Temperatures around the islands this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 80 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Green Torquay. Marshall, Babaco at 79 degrees. 80 degrees in the Berry Islands. Allenstown, Bimini, 80 degrees. Picking up 78 degrees in Harbour Island.
Rocksound Eleuthera, 79. Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space on Andros reporting 80 degrees. 79 in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. 79 also in Otterstown, Cadalla, San Salvador, and Rumkey. Georgetown, 80 degrees. 80s in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, Crooked Island, Betsy Bay, Maguana, and Acklands. Matthew Town, Niagara, 83. The Turks and Caicos Islands at 80 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern parts of our country tonight, right through Friday, you can anticipate light and variable winds with flat seas. High tide will take place at 11:18 tonight. Another high tide taking place at 11:36 tomorrow morning. In the central and southeastern islands, also through Friday, southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. That's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Shorts. But stay tuned, your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
What? Check old girl, boy. You say she getting married? Oh, man, not again.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to join this man's BTC home internet with this woman BTC mobile service in holy matrimony. So they'll pay half the price compared to the other guys.
What's wrong with you? Just let them...
Madam, do you have BTC mobile service?
I do.
Sir, do you have BTC home internet to unite with her mobile service?
I do.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile service.
So, what services do you have?
Me? I have BTC at home and on my phone.
Visit any BTC store to make the switch today.
My name is Alicia Poitea, and I've been using the Molfix brand for almost 10 years now. What I love about the Molfix brand is that it is of great quality, and I currently use it on my 2-year-old and my 5-month-old. I haven't had any issues with irritability or rashes or anything of that sort. What I love most about the Molfix brand is that I get value for money, and that to me is awesome.
My Gateway is the centralized, safe, secure way to access and pay for government services online. Go to mygateway.gov.bs. Click Login. Register with a government-issued ID like your NIB card. Fill in your personal information exactly as it appears on your ID, including spaces, periods, and dashes. You'll only have to sign up once. Now you're ready to request services on My Gateway. Receive an email confirmation for every request and email alerts when your documents are ready. You must have a valid, government-issued ID in order to collect documents. New services will be added every month. My Gateway is fast, easy, and convenient. For more information, visit mygateway.gov.bs.
AID has everything you need and more to complement your home's decor. Luxurious bamboo bath towels, face towels from $1.25 and bath towels from $5.45. Shower curtains from $2.54 and organizers in stylish finishes. Bath mat sets from $7.27 in a multitude of styles and colors. Bed sheet sets from $9.95 and 7-piece comforter sets from $49.95. Doormats from $1.93 with matching runners and hundreds of area carpets. Sofa covers from $19.95, plain and crushed sheer curtains from $5.25 and thousands of panels to choose from. Blinds from $7.02 and curtain rods from $2.89. Ceramic and porcelain dishes, tablecloths, napkins, placemats, utensils, and more. A wide selection of drinking glasses including elegant stemware, candle holders, vases, and crystal. Full-size mirrors, decorative pictures, and picture frames. AID, Wolf Road and the Mall at Marathon open late and on Sundays to serve your decorating needs. AID, all you really need and more.
To be the best,
world-class athletes depend on a live to stay connected. We are committed to promoting Bahamian excellence locally and on an international stage. With hundreds of thousands of people depending on us, we must be a strong, fast, and flexible network. With speeds as fast as Joanna and plans as flexible as Donald, there's a plan suitable for everyone starting as low as $1 a day. With our Freedom Plan, choose the way you want to be connected with a 1-day or 7-day Freedom Plan. With our 30-day Liberty Plan, choose the right bundle of talk, text, and data. And for postpaid, we've got Liberty bundles loaded with talk, text, data, and even roaming included. Alive's hard-working network was built for hard-working people. No matter your goal, we have a plan that you can depend on. We are Alive.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your sports on this Wednesday. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports news. Bahamian shortstop Jazz Chisholm Jr. continuing his hot start to the season, but unfortunately his Miami Marlins would come up on the losing end yet again. Tuesday was almost an exact carbon copy of Monday's 5-4 loss to the Arizona Diamondbacks, right down to the final score and late inning efforts by Chisholm Jr. Down 5-zip with 4 bases loaded in the 7th inning. Chisholm Jr. hit a hard ground ball up the first base line that went all the way to the outfield walls. It seemed that Chisholm was on his way to a 3 RBI triple, but first base umpire Ryan Willis immediately called it a foul ball. After a meeting between the umpire crew, the call was reversed, but the umpire said Chisholm Jr. would only be credited with a 2-run double instead of the triple, would finish 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs, and the Marlins again would lose 5-4. Jazz on the controversial plate.
I didn't hear anything. I was too in the moment to hear anything, so all I could do is go off my visuals. But I remember I hit the ball and I saw that it was fair in my eyes, at least. I saw it and I was like looking at him, but he got spun around. But he called it fair, but turned foul. So I was like, what just happened? You know what I mean? So, but that's basically all I had. Like, I was just asking him, like, what? And then he was just like, it just was a confusion. It was just a confusion, so.
In just a game after making his first major league hit, Bahamian shortstop Lucius Fox was recalled to the minor leagues. The Washington Nationals releasing a statement last night indicating that they would have reinstated D. Strange Gordon after the infielder completed a week-long rehabilitation assignment at AAA Rochester. To make roster room for Strange Gordon, the Nationals optioned infielder Lucius Fox to Rochester and transferred right-hander Anibal Sanchez to the 10-day injured list. Fox's hit ended an over 20 drought to start his MLB career and certainly gave him the confidence he needed. On this season, he was 2 for 25 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs scored. In her return to the WNBA, Bahamian basketball star Jonquel Jones continued to show why she's arguably the best female basketball player in the world. Jones finished with 15 points and 6 rebounds in just 14 minutes of play in the Suns' 94-78 preseason win over the Atlanta Dream at the Mohegan Sun Arena. The regular season opener for the Sun will be May 7th on the road against the New York Liberty, and the home opener will be on May 14th when the Suns host the Los Angeles Sparks. The Sun are expected to trim the roster to just 11 players heading into the regular season. The promising 2021 season saw the Sun franchise produce the MVP, Most Improved Player, Coach of the Year, set franchise records in wins, winning percentage, and points allowed. They finished the regular season 26-6, but the year ended in disappointing fashion with a loss to the eventual champion Chicago Sky in the semifinals. The St. Augustine's Big Red Machine with a good showing from both of their 4x1 teams at the Penn Relays over the weekend. The high school girls 4x100 meters featuring the 9 fastest teams that did not qualify for the championship of the America Final. The SAC quartet of Zaria Stapleton, LaCarthia Cooper, Naya Wright, and Amari Pratt finishing a tie for first with Heritage High School out of Newport News, Virginia. As both crossed the finish line in 48.26 seconds. In the high school boys version of that event, SAC's team of Jonathan Fowler, Damani Skinner, Joshua Miller, and Shamar Bain was third in 42.17 seconds. The postseason accolades continue to roll in for Bahamian collegiate tennis star Sydney Clark. Clark was recently named to the All-Conference Singles second team for the Conference USA. This after she was named the most valuable player of the UAB women's tennis program last week. Clark won 10 out of the 13 matches in 2022, playing the number 2, 3, and 4 positions. We caught up with her on the feet.
It feels great to get the award. It feels nice to know that my hard work didn't go unrecognized. It's just more motivation for me to keep doing well and striving for excellence. So I'm really proud of myself this semester. And I mean, I couldn't do it without my teammates and my coaches, just having their support and them pushing me to achieve my goals this semester. So I'm just really glad that I was able to push through on and off the court, in the classroom and on the court, and just be able to stay focused in order to get the results that I wanted.
And that's one look at sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
When you want to save money on your tile supplies, who you gonna call? The Tile King. When you tile your house and you want to look good, who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Visit the new Tile King showroom, which is internationally recognized as the finest tile showroom in the Caribbean, located in the Builders Mall on Wolf Road.
The Tile King. Who you gonna call? The Tile King.
Tiles on everything.
I've always worked in business solutions, commercial customers. We've worked with and helped them to become successful through communications technology. It forces me to be on my game in terms of learning about technology, learning about communications, learning about mobile and fixed. So I'd advise any young woman wanting to get into the technology field to take every opportunity that you can to learn, because you just never know where the job opportunities will be in 1 or 3 or 5 years.
Family gatherings start with a trip to Super Value and Quality Supermarkets for great savings like Mahatma long grain rice, 10 pounds, $7.99. Rainbow corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5. Hunt's ketchup, 32 ounce, $2.69. Chicken leg quarters, 10-pound bag, $1.19 per pound. Sweet cantaloupes, 2 for $5. Continue to save at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
Ordinary people, you've never seen anything like this before. This is art and fashion together in one.
Hi, this is Novi Pierre, also known as Novi Pierre. Do not miss me on Ordinary People Doing Extraordinary Things.
Time now for weather.
And our final look at weather, that upper-level trough which digged into the northwest Bahamas, firing up some heavy showers and thunderstorms overnight and during the morning hours, is now moving over the Atlantic Ocean, so we should see some improvement with 1 or 2 lingering showers and isolated thunderstorms still lurking around. Tonight, we're going in for mostly cloudy with a shower or an isolated thunderstorm, still very possible, but they will be somewhat of an isolated nature, so you may or may not get those. 73 degrees for your low temperature, and tomorrow, we're looking at partly sunny, much improved, a bit on the warm side, with a high temperature reaching 84 degrees. And the extended weather forecast of beautiful weather right through the weekend. Those daytime temperatures, they're starting to get up into the upper 80s. We should peak out at about 86 degrees on Sunday, and then that's Mother's Day, so a very warm Mother's Day shaping up, and it's going to be somewhat on the humid side for you. Makishla?
Well, thanks, Basil. And this programming note for you. Please tune into the ZNS television network at 7 o'clock tomorrow morning for the return of the morning edition. Well, that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
I want y'all to picture your parents them over there watching you. You want gangbang?
It's back.
You're here because your parents
decided to put you in here.
The groundbreaking reality series returns.
You never shown me before? You raise your hand at me?
Do you know it's still time to get it together?
With never before seen footage.
Come punch me then. Send you to punch him, mommy. You punch me?
This ain't no playground. You're gonna know before you leave today. If you leave, if they find some space, I can teach you all how to disrespect.
It's a whole new season.
Don't come here with your movie face, because I ain't buying it.
Watch their transformation.
It bears to be a winner. It bears to be a winner. Being white, you are a unit. You moving as one.
So why you doing what you do? The Ministry of National Security and the ZNS Network presents Shark Treatment. A whole new season coming soon.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Everyone has a legacy to create our own.